Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the NBC Watertown YouTube channel, Sectional Football, and it's a grudge match. Indian River and Carthage taking each other on here in the sectional semifinals. We're already underway. Carthage will start the opening possession. My name is Connor Lalone alongside Josh Madison. We're up here on the deck above the Indian River press box, and it is a blustery evening, so we apologize for the wind you're sure to hear pretty much all night. Doesn't look like that's going to let up very much for us. We'll do our best to bring you the action. Like I said, a big rivalry game, and already Carthage with the football, and it's Jeremiah Adamola-Sidipe. He stood up on second down and about 6. Tackled for a loss of a couple. Well, Josh, the first time we saw these two teams, it was just an absolute classic. Thoughts on what we might see again tonight?
I'm very excited for what we're going to see tonight. I'm guessing the playbook style will not change. We've seen about the same playbook all season for these teams. No matter the opponent, they haven't seemed to change it. I don't think it'll change tonight. Be looking out for Jeremiah Adamola-Sidipe, the guy who just got that handoff, and Trevor Shawcross on the Indian River Wolves. We'll be looking to hear his name get called a ton. Early timeout, though, from Carthage.
Yeah, interesting decision from Carthage and Coach Kaufman to call one this early, but obviously didn't love what they saw there when they got to the line on third down and about 9.
I'm sure, and with this game and and everything that is involved with this game, you're going to want to make sure that every single call that you make is to perfection. So if you don't see something right, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of timeouts and, possibly some quick changes while they're on the field. But between these two teams, Indian River, their only loss on the season is to Carthage. So they are definitely looking to get a win here and cement a big win tonight.
Indian River looking for an early stop. Handed off to Adamola-Sidipe on third down and 9. He gets past the line of scrimmage, then he's brought down, and that'll be well short of the first down yardage. It's going to be fourth down and long for Carthage. The wind is, just...
It is brutal.
Bitter up here.
And one thing that I've noticed already early on in this one, this is a lot like what we saw in the first half last time that these two teams faced off, where the Indian River defense stood up Adamola-Sidipe early on.
High snap, gets over the punter, and going to have to track that one all the way down, see if they can make something happen. They won't, and Indian River is going to end up with a football in just an absolute terrific spot to start this game. You think maybe the wind came into play there on that snap, just high and up over the head of Carson Rick, who was back to punt that away for Carthage.
I'm sure the wind was involved, and I'm sure the adrenaline was involved.
Yeah.
When you're in a big game like this, tensions are high, and especially between these two teams. They both are so excited to be able to take out the other team's season. I mean, these are two rivaling schools. They want to end the other team's season tonight. And I'm sure just the adrenaline just shot it a little high.
Yeah, you mentioned it. They really do not like each other. Indian River just that one loss to Carthage in a game they felt they should have won. Shawcross is going to get the ball, and he's going to sneak into the end zone on the first play from scrimmage for Indian River, and they set themselves up on that high snap. They got away from Rick on the punt attempt. They got the ball inside the 10, and it was handed off to Shawcross, who immediately made no mistake as we take another look on the Carthage Area Hospital replay.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of this. The handoff to Shawcross and the blocking on this play. I mean, textbook and to perfection.
Yeah, just a perfectly executed play. It's something that they've done all year. Get the ball into the hands of their main man, Shawcross, and boy, has it worked for him. They're going to go for 2, and they're easily into the end zone, tacking on 2 more. Guess who?
Yeah, Trevor Shawcross there. I mean, they didn't even want to waste time to hand it off to him. Just snap it right to him and let him do his work. Once he gets those legs moving, it's tough to stop him. as you see there on that 2-point try, and we are 2 minutes into this game, and Indian River has a ton of momentum on their side, up 8-0.
Very similar feel to the game in Carthage, where Indian River was able to jump out ahead early. That's a game, I've talked to several people that are involved and know how this team feels and thinks and acts, and they feel like they should have won that game, and really, by all accounts, they really should have. They were up 26-0. They gave up that one late touchdown in the first half to Adamola Sidipe, and then looked like they were maybe going to have a chance, though, to add on at the start of the second half. They ended up taking 3 or 4 bad penalties that negated a touchdown, and then the wheels kind of came off. We'll see if they've learned from that. They try to keep the ball on the ground there with the onside kick.
Yeah, we saw that recently. If you were there for last week's game, we weren't a part of that, but last week when Indian River were in their quarterfinal game, they started their game down, but a couple of successful onside kicks turned that game around. But this team, they're going to want to jump on it early. They want to get as many drives as possible, as many touchdowns as possible. I spoke with a couple of the players. They want to just destroy Carthage tonight. They want no momentum on their side ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of animosity between these two teams. Adamola Sidipe stood up again. Well, Tyler Clemens and I talked about it on his show, Hometown Connections, just aired on NBC. We talked about it this week, though. That's got to be the game plan for Indian River. I mean, Carthage hands the ball off to Adamola Sidipe, 85, 90% of the time. That's what the play is. And if they can stop that, or at least slow him down long enough, they're going to have a shot.
Yeah, and he's currently at 280 on the season as he gets another one here on this second down. But like I was saying, like last time that we saw this team, this is exactly what we saw in the first half. Indian River just getting to Adamola Sidipe early and almost hitting him at the line, which is what you need to do with this guy. He's going to try and just get those wheels going. And just like Trevor Shawcross, once he gets those wheels going, it's tough to stop him. But if you can get to him and get a couple of bodies on him before he really gets moving, you can bring him down pretty quick.
So now third down and long, about 8 to gain here for Carthage with 8:35 to go in the first quarter. Indian River up 8-0. Shawcross with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. This one's handed off and out to the near side. Different ball carrier this time for the Comets, but it's not going to matter too much.
That one, Alex Mitchell with that carry.
Nothing doing really on the play, maybe a yard gained, and that's going to bring up fourth down and long. And this was the problem spot for Carthage on that first offensive possession. Went 3 and out, and as they set up the punt, the snap well over the head of the quarterback turned punter Carson Rick, who's back there again to kick this one away. The wind is blowing kind of from our left to right. A better snap that time. Rick's looking to pass on the fake punt, and that one's just thrown over the head of the intended receiver on the near sideline. Jacob Kilborn.
I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow for that team. I mean, you have there's so little right now going for Carthage. You need something, and maybe a fake punt would work, and if you get a first down there, I mean, that would really shift the momentum, but I mean, it just seems like everything is going blue right now.
On the other part about trying to make a play like that, throw the football in that situation, just the wind just makes that so difficult. This one is a rush right up the middle. Couple of yards maybe on the carry.
And this is where we're probably going to start seeing a little more of the more standard Indian River offense. Yes, they go to Trevor Shawcross more often than anyone else, but they are not afraid to share the ball around. That one to Ariel Raymond. He's usually their second guy to go to. They got a lot of guys on this team that are quick on their feet. And if they can get some good blocks on their offensive line, they are dangerous on all corners.
Flag comes out at the line of scrimmage as this one is blown dead pretty quickly. It was Fred Haynes who got the carry that time. Just adding to your point, Josh, that they really do spread it around. It's kind of been a staple of the Indian River offense. Offside against the Carthage defense, so a 5-yard penalty on second down, and it'll be second and about 4 to pick up here for Indian River.
And that's our first penalty of the night, and from how this first quarter has gone, it's pretty certain that it goes against Carthage.
Handed off to Haynes, and he's going to pick up enough for a first down to move the chains. It's down to about the 36 inside the Carthage half of the field. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Indian River trying to tack onto that early lead. They're up 8-0. Trevor Shawcross with another touchdown. And then found his way into the end zone on the 2-point conversion as well. Here he is in motion, and it's pitched out to him on the near side. Gets through the line of scrimmage and over the 10. Nobody's going to catch him again. And Shawcross into the end zone one more time. That celebration we've seen quite a few times this season. And Shawcross with his second of the night. We're not even halfway through the first quarter, and Indian River's up 14-0 with a chance to add 2 more. As you take another look, once Shawcross got the line of scrimmage, got to the outside.
It's looking like a full presidential escort out there with the blocking he's getting. He had no one near him at any time. That was a great run ran by Indian River there. And Trevor Shawcross continuing to show why he's their #1 guy.
Yeah, he got the direct snap again like they did that first 2-point conversion attempt. There was a whistle, and Indian River called a timeout before that play, so.
Now, another thing that I'd like to mention, going into tonight, Trevor Shawcross sits at 281 yards short of the single season record for Indian River rushing yards. That's a big number, especially for a school like Indian River. They're very well known for their football team. They have been for a while. So for a player like Trevor Shawcross, who is a junior, to be able to have that chance tonight to get that sort of record, that is big for this. That shows how good that this team is and how good that he is as a player.
Yeah, both running backs trying to chase down some history. Adam Olasidipe is closing in on the record over for Carthage as well. Just 2 absolutely dominant seasons from those guys. Shawcross on the 2-point conversion does get the direct snap, dives at the pylon. No, they're going to say he was down. Well, that was
close for sure.
That was interesting. The referee standing right there took his time and then signaled that Shawcross was down short of the line of scrimmage. They're going to talk about it. No, they're not going to give it to him. So the score stays 14-0. There's another look at it.
That's close.
That's about as close as it's going to get.
But, at least, for Carthage, that is a little bit of momentum, which, if you're Indian River, that's not what you want to give, especially with how much that they have been successful so far in this first quarter. You want to keep that pressure on. You want to keep the momentum on your side. And that play, even though it had nothing to do with a Carthage tackle, it was just the out-of-bounds line that stopped Trevor from getting in there.
Yeah, just ran out of real estate more than anything else.
One could argue if the field was just an inch bigger,
yeah,
that's a touchdown, and it's Indian River celebrating a 16-0 lead rather than 14-0.
Regardless, 6:19 on the clock in quarter number 1. Indian River up 14-0. Shawcross with 2 touchdowns. I think they're having issues. Yeah, they're going to have somebody come out and hold this one so that Shawcross can kick it away.
If you didn't believe us about how windy it is.
I'm sure you can hear it. It is really swirling up here, and there's nothing to protect us from it at all, unfortunately.
Now this is interesting for Indian River. They don't kick field goals very often. In fact, I don't believe they have a field goal attempted this year. So to have a kickoff set like this is definitely different for these guys.
We've seen them use a number of different players as well to kick away. It's Shawcross who actually is going to boot this one, and that's going to make its way down, bounces to about the 22 where it's picked up, and then able to break a tackle out to the near side, getting around one, still going, forced out just over the 50. And it was Adamola Sidipe on the kick return.
I feel like as a kicker, that's got to be the guy you don't want to kick it to, is that guy. And you can see right there what happens when he gets moving. Breaking that one for more than 30 yards. That's a great run and now a good spot for Carthage to start a third drive. Hopefully for them, they can get something going.
Yeah, 3 and out on their first 2 possessions of the game. Wolves defense is completely keyed in on Adamola Sidipe. See if they can stop him again here. He's bounced off at the line, and then as he tried to get to the outside, he maybe picked up the smallest of gains. It's going to be second down and long still, probably about 10. Well, for Carthage, it's hard to see them really doing anything other than just giving the ball to Adamola Sidipe. They can pass. It's not like we haven't seen Carson Rick complete passes this season, but the wind, the conditions, everything adds up to really being an issue. Shawcross is coming off to this near side. Josh, that's something to keep an eye on. He's almost like he's holding his left hand there. So
yeah, that's a wrist, and especially for a guy who's carried the ball so much, it's not something you want to see. Now it is cold outside, so it could just be a little zing in his arm that could need a little fixing, but
Adamola Sidipe gets around one, still on his feet, trying to spin around. It's probably his biggest gain of the day. It's only a couple of yards, though. And it'll bring up third down and long again for Carthage. Just really haven't had the right key to unlock the Indian River defense in the first 7 or so minutes of the first quarter.
And if you're the Indian River defense, you have got to be feeling good. I mean, everything going to plan, stopping your biggest target tonight up to this point.
Third down now. And again, handed off. Rick fakes the pass. And again, it's a stop for Indian River. Nothing doing really on the play. A couple of yards on the carry for Alex Mitchell, and it's Huffman in on the stop for Indian River.
A third straight fourth down for Carthage. Yet to see a first down marker.
Fourth and long, too. They haven't even really gotten too close. Good snap this time, and Rick does get a punt away. It's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 28. And so, at the very least, Carthage able to connect on special teams there. That first possession of the game, the punt that never was, went over the head of Rick and set up Indian River down inside the 10-yard line where it took them exactly one play to get on the board. This time they'll have a little bit further to go.
Yeah, and I mean, that being their first successful getaway of a punt, you can see Indian River not letting them get any fakes off.
Win under center. Handed off and well read. Fred Haynes on the carry, and he was stopped immediately.
I mean, you can see over here on the near sideline, Trevor Shawcross still working on that arm. I'm sure Indian River is going to try and get him back on the field as soon as they can.
It's actually that right arm he was testing out. Indian River will keep the ball on the ground. Again, not very much happening. Short gain for Raymond on the carry. 3rd down and 8 coming up with the ball pretty much right on the Indian River 30-yard line.
And there you could see number 7 entering back into the huddle. This is a big 3rd down for Carthage to get a stop. It's a big 3rd down for Indian River to keep that pressure on Carthage.
Motion behind the quarterback. It's Shawcross, and he gets the ball, but he's met at the line. And so Carthage does come up with their 3rd down stop. It's going to be 4th and 8. And now Indian River will be forced to make a decision on 4th down.
Looks like they're changing around the line, so we may see a punt here from Indian River. It's not something that you usually see. And again, you're usually seeing them put up 6 on every drive.
Colton White back to punt. Nobody really deep for Carthage. It's a good punt from White. It's going to bounce at the 40 and then takes a favorable roll for the Indian River Wolves all the way down inside the 30. They're waving it down, and I think the wind is assisting them just a touch as it gets all the way down to the 21 where Indian River will down the punt. So special teams has been a bit of a difference in this one so far. That one just kept rolling and rolling.
It was a decent punt without the wind, and the wind just made it that much better. I mean, a good job there from the kicker there to get it away and pin Carthage down back where they are at the 21. But neither team having someone back there to receive either punt, you can tell these teams, they don't trust any team with a punt team or not.
Already seen Carthage fake a punt once. Edamol Sidipe on the carry, and again he's met right at the line of scrimmage. At some point you'd think Carthage has got to try something else because Indian River just giving them zero respect, giving anyone other than Edamol Sidipe any respect.
Yeah, I mean, that was Zachary McMahon there with that grab. I mean, he hit Edamol Sidipe at the line and held on for dear life.
You have to. He's so strong. They've done a tremendous job to this point. Tell you what, Josh, though, this really does feel so similar to that game in Carthage. Handed off, Edamol Sidipe, and he just can't quite get to the outside. Every time he gets the football, you expect something magical to happen. It just hasn't yet, and that's actually going to be a loss of a couple yards. So 3rd down and 9 coming up for Carthage as we're approaching 1 minute to go in the first quarter.
I mean, this Indian River team, I mean, they're moving like a wolf pack out there. Just so many guys getting to the backfield to put a hit on Edamol Sidipe. And, I mean, it has shown it's worked up to this point. It's worked. They've held him to barely anything up to this point. We'll see what they can do here on 3rd and 9.
Got to get the snap off. They didn't. Play clock ran out on him. It's going to be a delay of game against the Comets and a costly penalty to take on 3rd down and 9. It'll back them up even further.
Yeah, I mean, that's just shown what's been going for Carthage. It's been nothing. I mean, they have just anything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong for Carthage. And, I mean, they're going to try here for a big 3rd down. You got a long ways to go, but with the players that Carthage holds in that lineup, I mean, there's a reason that they're able to play this 3rd down instead of just counting it as 4th.
Edamol Sidipe deep in the backfield behind Rick. Motion behind him. They hand it off. No, Rick with a fake handoff. Throws out to the near side, and it is incomplete. In and out of the hands as the ball just kind of tumbled through the air.
Yeah, I mean, that one was right in his hands, and I mean, although he had some defenders in front of him, that at least gives him a chance, but I mean, that's one that receiver will definitely want to have back as we are nearing the very near end of this first quarter.
So 4th down and 14, 12 seconds to go. Rick back to punt, and again, nobody deep for Indian River. Rick just gets it away. That one was very nearly blocked, and that one's downed quickly at the 36 by Carthage.
That one again, that's back-to-back punts that you can easily see were affected by the wind. That one, a line drive kick, lands at probably the 38, 39, rolls back to where it is now at the 36 for Indian River to start their next drive. They'll probably only get one playoff before we send it to the second quarter, but they will make the best of this play that they can.
Probably a heads-up play from Colton Fox there, Carthage special teams, to down that football before it had a chance to roll any further. 5.4 to go. Shawcross on the pitch, gets around the first, and then the second. He's over the 20, and he has got a lane to the end zone yet again. I was going to say, they only have a play left in the quarter. That's all they needed. Trevor Shawcross is third in the first quarter, and it is 20-0 as time runs out in quarter number 1.
And that one is number 30 for him. You take another look. That is just the speed of Trevor Shawcross, beating everyone to the outside and getting down that sideline into the end zone. Like I said, that is number 30 on the year. 30 touchdowns. You got one other guy in this game that has more, and that's Adamola Sadipe.
It's just incredible what the two of them have been able to do this season. Shawcross direct off on the two-point conversion attempt. He hurdles the line and will convert. So it's 22-0 Indian River at the end of the first quarter.
Now, I mean, as amazing as this first quarter has been, you got to know, in Indian River, it's got to be in the back of their head of what happened last time these two faced off. They had a lead like this. In fact, their lead was a little bit bigger than this, and it was later in the game. So if you're Indian River, you're not going to get complacent. They're going to keep putting the pressure on. And if you're Carthage, you got to find the answer. Can they get an answer from this defense? Because right now, Adamola Sadipe has barely even been existent in this game with the stops that this defense has put up. If Carthage wants any hope of moving on to that sectional final, they're going to need to get some sort of offense going here, especially in this second quarter.
Fresh 12 minutes on the clock as we switch sides and get set for the second quarter of the Section 3 Class B semifinals. Carthage and Indian River, a fake, and Indian River's going to come up with a football. They faked everybody out. I mean, the last two kickoffs for Indian River have been Shawcross, and he ran up like he was going to kick it away, and instead,
I believe that was Brock Hoffman with that kick, number 72. It was, I mean, I'm curious on what they're going to roll. There was a dummy run in there where one of the Indian River players ran in front of the ball. I'm not sure if they're going to rule that he touched it. It looks like the refs are talking.
yeah, they're going to have a conversation about it.
I think what they're ruling is that an Indian River player touched it prior to the Carthage player touching it.
And if it hadn't traveled 10 yards, it's a penalty on it. The Wolves. I didn't ever see the flag come out, but that's what they're signaling. That's what the public address announcer has stated. So they'll back him up. That would have been some momentum swing.
That would have, and especially right now with, like we were saying, in between the quarters, they got that score in the back of their head. They want to keep putting the pressure on. That's how you do it right there. You recover an onside kick, you get the ball back, you put the ball back in your offense's hands. We'll see if they do it again here on this kickoff.
Well, it's Tegan Wynn who's lined up to kick, and it's actually booted away by Nicholas Burt, reeled in by Carthage, and then diving over the 50 was the kick returner, Chris Talbot.
You got to think another reason for that onside kick, it keeps it away from Adamola Sidipe's hands. They keep it up short. They don't have it. He's all the way down at the 20, looking to receive a deeper kick.
Yeah, we saw that in the previous meeting between these two teams. He had a huge kick return in that game. Like you said, they've really stifled him so far, but they know what he was able to do in that second half. The first time they saw him, and they have just keyed in on him defensively as he's brought down for a big loss on the play.
That's Brock Hoffman, and you can tell he is fired up, and so is this entire Indian River sideline to be able to take down Adamola Sidipe behind the line. That is huge for this team, to take care of him when they can. Especially when this offense has struggled at this point. They've yet to find a first down in this first half.
Second down and 13 now after Adamola Sidipe was tackled for a loss. Handed off to him again up the middle, and again, nothing doing. And this has been just a defensive masterclass from Indian River so far. As James Huffman and Bruce Shawcross there in on the stop for Indian River. Third down and 12 coming up with the ball on the 49.
This is a big first down, or a big third down for Carthage.
Rick fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. Fourth down and 11 coming up.
And if you missed the first quarter, well, you basically just saw it right there. The defense just stopping Carthage at the line, stopping him at the line, forcing them to a fourth and long, and Carthage just having no answer offensively. Can't seem to figure out this Indian River defense.
Rick now punting with the win. Whistle right before he got it away. It was actually a really solid punt.
But he'll have to do it again, and from farther back, as it looks like. Oh, the kicker dropped his knee receiving the punt. So they are downing the kicker in the backfield, and will give a turnover on downs, and Indian River will now receive the ball at the 39.
Wow, great spot, Josh. I mean, he had to go down and get that for sure. The officials saw it like you did. Had to go down. Knee made contact with the turf. And just another really tough play to take for Carthage, and right on cue, Indian River is going to punish them swiftly for it. The pitch play, and this time it's somebody other than Shawcross, if you can believe it. Able to rush that one in is Ariel Raymond.
Yes, he is usually guy number 2 for Indian River, but on this drive, he's number 1, and he's all that they need. One play yet again for Indian River. You see those blocks. He's just got that hole. You look at Carthage, Adamola Sidipe, he has yet to find those holes. Indian River has done a great job at closing those doors for him, and also opening the doors for their running backs.
Yeah, the blocking has been tremendous for the Warriors. Pitched again out to Raymond, and again 2 points for Indian River, and the lead up to 30 with 9:48 to go in the second quarter. Well, I talked earlier about the conversation I had with Tyler Clemens for his show earlier this evening, and that was another thing we talked about. What can Indian River improve on to change the result from the first time they saw each other, and that was something I mentioned to Tyler, was that they didn't convert their two-point conversions. And in a game that ended up being so close, that was part of what made a difference. Tonight, they have been lights out from the goal line.
Yeah, that is something that they have improved on throughout the season since that game, and have definitely improved on tonight, converting, I believe they're at 3 of 4 tonight, which is big for them.
And the one they were marked short, we thought that Shawcross might have got. This one bounces around. It's reeled in on the far side. That one, again, just dangerous. Hung around long enough. Eventually worked its way into the hands of Craig Rogers on the far sideline, who tried to make something of a return there. Gets the football to the 46. Carthage have dug themselves a real hole here.
They need a first down. I mean, they haven't even gotten that yet. If you're 2 minutes into the second quarter, you haven't even seen a first down yet. You need that now.
Pitched out to Adamola Sidipe. He gets around the first and then steps out of bounds.
And I mean, that shows the defense from Indian River. Just no matter how far away from the snap that Adamola Sidipe has ran, you see 3 or 4 blue players just following him at every single step. And as soon as he shakes off one, he's got 3 or 4 of them on his back, bringing him down.
Gain of 1 for Adamola Sidipe, 2nd and 9. Rick right under center. Handed off. Adamola Sidipe up the middle, trying to just power his way through, but stopped pretty quickly. Couple of yards on the carry. 3rd down and 7 coming up.
And one thing about Indian River, you see all these tackles. I don't know if one of them has been the same player. Indian River has just had all different kinds of players getting into that backfield, making it very difficult for this offensive line to know who to block. Because you block one guy and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 different players are in the backfield tackling Jeremiah.
Rick now pitches on the option play, and Adamola Sidipe again just stood up. And this has just been tremendous effort on both sides of the football for Indian River here at home in the first half. They've just been everywhere all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked any one of the players on Indian River, they would have told you they deserved to have a blowout last time. They thought they had a blowout in that game, and it just slipped through their fingers and turned into a loss. So they believe that they deserve a blowout tonight.
Rick, that punt might be too good. It will be a roll out of the back of the end zone. A low line drive that time from Rick. It's been a mixed bag for the Carthage special teams. That one, from their perspective, unfortunate. Rick just caught it too well.
Yeah, and I mean, he does the exact same kick in the first quarter, and that ball goes maybe 20 yards.
Yeah.
This one, it sails straight through the end zone without even giving anyone on Carthage a chance to stop it. It's the difference of this win tonight. It is strong and it is impactful.
Indian River up 30. Handoff play up the middle. Was waiting for a whistle there. Didn't get it for quite a while. That's a carry for Fred Haynes and a gain of about 5 yards. 2nd down and 5 coming up. Clock ticking down, approaching 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. Pitch, Shawcross on the carry. Trevor Shawcross gets through the line and picks up a 1st down for Indian River.
Yeah, there was some daylight at the end of that tunnel. You could see he was just about free. But a nice job there by Carthage just to jump on his back, bring him to the ground before he gets too far. and it's too late to catch him.
First down and 10 after the rush for Shawcross. Ball on the 37 for Indian River with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Shawcross in motion, handed off though, no, capped by Wynn, and Wynn diving forward for close to 7 yards.
Wynn has been probably the best quarterback that Indian River could ask for this season. Not only being able to hand the ball off like he does to Trevor Shawcross, but even when in trouble, he has been able to throw the ball very well, getting some really good yardage on the passing game.
This one's handed off, and it looks like it's going to be another first down for Indian River. It is. Move the chains on the far sideline. The Wolves are just rolling right now. And they're into the Carthage half of the field. No, not quite. Ball on the 50. Wynn comes over to the sideline, gets some direction from the coaching staff, and relays that to his huddle, who steps to the line now on 1st and 10. Number on that chain on the far side not changed. And they'll flip it over. It is second down.
They will actually get stopped just about at the line.
Yeah, nothing doing on the play for Fred Haynes.
Probably one of the first few times that we've seen that in this first half. Indian River has had their way offensively in this one. And
Motion behind the line. Flag comes out.
And that's just all thanks to their quick offense. They've gotten to the line quick and snapped the ball quick all first half. They get a man in motion, and I mean, we've seen it all season. They do that just to get into that defensive line's head and get one of them to jump, and it works almost every time. Gets them a free 5 yards.
Raymond, the player in motion behind the quarterback, Wynn. Got Carthage to jump. Raymond with a touchdown here in the first half, as well as he joined the Trevor Shawcross party. Handed off. No, kept again by Wynn. So deceptive on those plays. Able to sell the handoff so well.
Yeah, one part that helps him sell that so much is for how long he keeps his hands out there as if he's already let the ball go. And then almost in the final millisecond just yanks it back and tucks it quick. That one got him 4.
Third down and short now. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Ball on the 41. Pitched out to the near side. That's Ariel Raymond on the carry. Raymond got through a couple of tackles. He's still on his feet as he spins around and is brought down in bounds at the 31. Another first down, though, and another third down conversion for Indian River.
Yeah, you can see Indian River, they want more. They just want more. They know what happened last time these two faced off. They remember that feeling. They don't want it again. They want more every time.
And they get up to the line in a hurry. Raymond on the pitch. Gets through the line of scrimmage and then forced down. A big tackle. And it's actually more of a hit than a tackle laid by Jace Watson, but it was enough to send Raymond to the ground.
One of those plays, he could see the open field. He had nothing but grass in front of him, but a Carthage player standing next to him laid the boom and knocked him off balance. That's a big hit there by Carthage to possibly stop a touchdown there.
Gain of 8 for Raymond. Second down and 2. Ball on the Carthage 23. This one's pitched to Shawcross. And he's going to be close to the first down yardage. I think they're going to give it to him as he got down to about the 20. They do. Move the chains on the far side.
They will, and with how well that this offensive line has played for Indian River in this first half, it almost seemed automatic for that first down for Trevor Shawcross. It's taken a little bit. It's a little bit of a longer drive from Indian River from what we've seen, but they will take it to run some clock down.
Pitched. Shaw cross. And he's brought down. Gain of about 6, though. Again, just every time he gets the football, you expect him to break through that line. He was close there.
I mean, part of that is his speed. I mean, he gets those legs moving quick. It's tough to catch him, but if you can, you got to bring him down. Otherwise, no one else is going to be able to catch him.
Shawcross lines up to the left. Raymond in motion. It's pitched to him. Ariel Raymond gets around the first. Has blockers down the field, and Raymond with his second of the first half. And it's 36-0 Indian River.
Yeah, and that just, I mean, they ate some good clock off with that drive. You can tell that Indian River, they have just loved every second of this. As you take another look, I mean, again, the blocking, you see right there at the end. I mean, that turn, that edge tackle from improbable to impossible with that block there at the end.
Nicholas Burt getting down the field and creating the space for Raymond. Creating his second touchdown. Pitch to Shawcross into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, and it's 38-0. Just feels like Indian River has really taken that one personally. They used it as motivation.
They have, and I mean, this is a team that, this is a school that knows what it's like to be in that sectional final. This is a school that knows what it's like to win that sectional final. And they also know what it feels like to come up short. And they want that feeling to be back in the dome and be playing for that sectional title yet again. And they are setting themselves up beautifully in this first half. With 2.5 left, up by as much as they are, Carthage is going to need to find something, and something quick. Something like what we saw the last time these two teams faced off.
Shawcross was, actually that's, Wynn was going to kick that one away, and the ball came off of the tee. Last minute direction from Zachary McMahon. Low kick, reeled in at the 40. And not much extra after it was reeled in by Carthage.
I mean, if you're Carthage right now, part of the battle is not just to score, but it's also to get a first down. This is getting to be too much of a problem for Carthage.
And it's mind-boggling, having watched this team this year, that they haven't been able to pick up a single first down to this point. 2 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the first half. And they just have got absolutely nothing going. It's looked exactly like that for the first half of football. Adamol Sadipe has been completely silenced.
Yeah, and I mean, going into this game for Indian River's defense, my thoughts were, it's not about stopping him, it's about containing him. And they have stopped him.
Yeah.
They have stopped
him.
No,
absolutely. I would agree 100%. I said as much. They have just blown any sort of expectations we could have had defensively out of the water. They've been impenetrable. Adamol Sadipe has gotten absolutely nothing going. And Rick is now trying to pass, and it is, tell you what, he's fortunate that that one wasn't picked off. Guess who the player was in coverage for Indian River?
Yes, sir, Trevor Shawcross. And I think, honestly, the reason that wasn't picked was the wind. I think throwing that into the wind, that went over his receiver's head, and even Trevor, who jumped with, and he's got quite a jump over there, but even that leap just wasn't enough to reel that in. That nearly turned this half from worse to even worse.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible how good Indian River has been defensively here in the first half. Rick under center. Hand it off. Adamola Sidibe, and again, how many times have we seen him get the football and then pick up less than a yard or two on a carry? It's just been, I would wager that's happened more times tonight than it probably has all season for him.
It's just, I'm not even sure if it's real at this point with how much we've seen. We're 10 weeks in, counting the quarterfinal.
As Rick just able to get that punt away, and Carthage is going to have to get down there.
Now they have the wind on their side. Maybe they'll get a favorable roll.
It's downed at the 18-yard line. But again, they fail to pick up a first down.
And they have yet to even be within 5 yards of a first down. If you can believe that, their closest that they have come to a first down is 7 yards. And it has shown the power of the Wolves defense tonight. They have just dominated every single part of that Carthage offense. And we'll see if they can carry that into the second half. But this is a better Wolves team than what we saw in the first half of this last meeting.
Hand it off. Haynes. Short gain up the middle.
We are less than 50 seconds now in the first half, and usually an offense would, kind of be a little more relaxed getting to the line, and honestly, we could probably have chalked up the half as it is, but with this team and with how dominant they've been on offense, you still can't even count them out. There's still a good chance that they put in some points here.
Yeah, so many guys capable of ripping off a big chunk play. It's Raymond out to the near side. Steps out of bounds. As in there to make the stop for Carthage was Carson Crump. Crump had a big interception really to seal the game the last time these two teams met.
And an interesting thing about that interception, Tegan Wynn, the Indian River quarterback, I mentioned earlier he's had an incredible season. He has one interception all season long, and it was that one. It was an interception to Carson Crumb with 40 seconds left in that game that sealed the victory for Carthage.
Handed off. Fred Haynes with a first down and then some. Haynes tripped up as he tried to get to the outside, but it's a huge gain for Indian River. They do have 2 or 3 timeouts left. I don't know if they're going to use one. They will.
Yeah.
I think this just speaks to how fired up they are about this game, too. Even up 38 in the first half, time running down. They're going to use their timeouts. They're going to draw something up here because they think, they know they can score here. And they would love to do that.
They know they can score, and they want to score. With how their last game went against this team, they don't want a single second wasted on this clock that Indian River is not using to score or to stop Carthage from scoring. They are putting so much pressure on these Comets, and I think they're still trying to figure out what to do. They don't even know that they're even here yet. It has just been...
No, it really does look like shell shock for Carthage. And now maybe they will go victory formation. As we said that, they will. And just kneel here to end the first half. But I didn't think a football team could look more dominant than Indian River did in that first meeting of these two teams. That's as good of half of football as I think you will ever see at any level. On both sides of the ball, Indian River just completely and totally dominant.
If you were to look at the score from last time that these two teams faced, and then looked at this score right now, you would be about as shocked as everybody else here. These are two very good teams, and Indian River has just blown it away. And with the lead that they have, we'll see if they can carry that into the second half and carry it to the JMA Wireless Dome next week.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to rule anything out after what we watched a few weeks back, and that Carthage team that just really seemed like they were out of that one too, and the way they came back in that game. But this one has a different feeling to it. Indian River at home with the weather kind of, I'm not certain that it's really helped them per se more than it has Carthage, but it just seems like for a Carthage team to be trailing the way they are, dealing with the wind, and the way Indian River has completely stifled their real only offensive weapon in Anamola Sidipe. What can Carthage even say at halftime?
I mean, I think if you're Carthage right now, the number one thing you have to say is that you got to figure it out. I mean, this is their season on the line here. If they don't come out into that second half firing on all cylinders like Indian River did in this half, then I don't see Indian River blowing this kind of a lead, especially with how they have handled that first half. I mean, it would be different if they just, kept them out of the end zone, but to keep them away from a first down is a whole different story. And I am shocked to see this half score look as it is.
It has been just a outstanding half of football. It's been completely unexpected. And Indian River with a massive lead here at home in the sectional semifinals against their long-standing rival, the Carthage Comets, here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us as we head into the halftime break, and thank all of our sponsors as well. Of course, the Bob Johnson Auto Group, our presenting sponsor for high school sports all year long. Bob Johnson Auto Group, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, new, used, it doesn't matter. Bob Johnson has got your ride with a $5 car wash every Friday. As well as Drex Subs, it's how you spell delicious, founded in 1967 in Carthage, and now open pretty much everywhere in the North Country. Satisfying meal on a crisp fall day. It's certainly one of those here in Philadelphia, with the wind has been just battering us all afternoon and all evening here. And a thank you as well to the Church Street Diner in Carthage. Church Street Diner, you're never too late for breakfast or too early for lunch. Thank you to Dawn and the Church Street Diner for supporting us, as well as Carthage Area Hospital, our replay sponsor all season long, and their group of associates, now part of the North Star Health Alliance, Claxton Hepburn and the North Country Orthopedic Group, Meadowbrook Terrace, all part of that Health Alliance. And the IBEW 910 NECA chapter here sponsors our MVP of the game. Really only one true front runner, and Trevor Shawcross, but Ariel Raymond deserves some love too for what he was able to achieve in that first half with a couple of scores for the Wolves. The score is 38-0. Indian River with a lead in the grudge match in the sectional semifinals against Carthage. We're going to take a break for halftime so Josh and I can get down inside the press box where it's warm. Josh Madison along with myself, Connor Lalone, Morgan Young on the camera with us up here on the deck as well, and Zach Zabriskie inside where it's warm on the controls. 38-0 in half. We'll be back in about 10.5 minutes for the second half of the sectional semis. Welcome back to Philadelphia, New York, where it is incredibly breezy up here on the roof of the press box. Joshua Madison, along with myself, Connor Lalone, up here to bring you through the commentary. Morgan Young, Zach Zabriskie, the rest of the crew for high school football on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel, presented as always by the Bob Johnson Auto Group and Drex Subs, as well as our special sponsor for tonight's sectional semifinals, the Church Street Diner in Carthage, New York. Indian River dominant in the first half, up 38-0, and they have just completely stifled Carthage on both sides of the football. And now to make matters even worse, Carthage will kick it away to start the second half. Well, the Comets could get absolutely nothing going offensively, not a single first down in that first half. It's completely uncharacteristic from them for an offense that's been so good all year. Adamola Sidipe has been so good all year, and he was held in check in that first half.
Absolutely, and I mean, we'll see if they can continue that in this half, or if we'll see a lot of like what we saw last time that these two teams faced off. Carthage fought back in the second half, but it's going to take a lot for them to fight back in this one, down by this much, as we'll get set for the second half.
Yeah, just a 20-point margin for them last time when they met that they were able to come back from. Trailed 26-6 at halftime. This time it's a little bit more ground to make up, and the offense really just hasn't had anything to build on to this point.
And their defenses seem to be on their heels almost the whole first half, with Indian River just pushing forward.
And been on the field quite a bit. Offense, like we said, not able to pick up any first downs, which means they haven't had any real time of possession at all. Means the defense has been on the field the majority of the game, and they're out there to start the second half. Pitch down to the near side for Shawcross, who gets around a first tackle, still on his feet, and then pushed out of bounds as he crosses the 40.
That is some good balancing work there by Shawcross, fighting for those yards, taking a hit, staying on his feet, fighting for more, only to get knocked out of bounds there at the end. He was not willing to go down there on that play.
Colton Fox makes the stop eventually at the 40-yard line for Carthage. It's first down and 10, and Indian River on one play able to pick up significant chunk yardage there and get into the Carthage half of the field. First and 10.
For Carthage, you need a stop on this drive to get back in this thing. It's got to start on the defense.
Raymond in motion. Wynn fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and spins over the 35. The ball comes loose late after the play. They're going to give it to Carthage.
Interesting call. I thought originally it was in the hands of Indian River. Then it looked like it popped out again. We'll take a look.
Yeah, this will be interesting to have another look at. I thought Wynn had been down by contact. We'll see if we can get a look. The ball might have come loose there initially before, and then as it rattled around, Carthage able to fall on top of it, so that's a step in the right direction for him.
Well, it looks like now the refs are going to come in and talk about it, but, I mean, if this stands.
Cam Dorchester was the player who ended up with the football.
If this stands.
They're going to have a conversation.
Speaking it into existence.
So,
okay, so what they are calling is, if you're unsure of what that ref was saying, he was saying that the second fumble, the Carthage player was down before he fumbled the ball, so it will remain in Carthage's hands.
Step in the right direction for Carthage as they're able to force a turnover. And not only force the fumble, but recover it. So they'll get the football here and immediately hand it off to Adamola Sidipe, who picks up 3 yards on the carry. Second down and long coming up for the Comets, who have a long way back trying to scratch and claw their way into this one against the Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying they needed to stop on that next play. They got the stop. They now need to put some points up.
Fake handoff from Rick. He's under pressure, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, that one, I mean, that's a throw that, I mean, if you're the quarterback, the only thing you're thinking about when you throw that is just don't get picked off. Just find turf, find a player, doesn't matter, just don't get picked off.
And avoid the sack, too.
Avoid the sack. Get out of there. And nice job there, though, from the Indian River defense to get back there and put that pressure on him. Carthage, they're trying to find something. They're trying some new things. They're trying to find something to break this Indian River defense. They couldn't find it in the first half, trying to find it here in the second half.
Motion behind Rick, who fakes the throw, but it's handed off to Adamola Sidibe, who is stood up and brought down in the backfield.
You could see the frustration on Adamola Sidibe. I mean, as soon as he got the handoff, he looked up and there was all blue in front of him. And that is not a sight you want to see as a running back.
For a player who's been so dominant all year, I mean, it has to be frustrating to have not had any success so far in this one. That's a good punt from Rick. And it will settle at the 43. So that's where Indian River will get the football back. So Carthage forces the turnover and then goes 3 and out.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what you want to do if you're Carthage trying to get back in this thing. You get a stop like that, you need to answer with points, and you need to at least get a first down. But this defense has just had every single answer possible.
Indian River quick to the line and hand it off up the middle for Shawcross. Gain of about 5 on the carry. Second down and 5 coming up. Win over to the near sideline now. Joins the huddle. And they break and step to the line on 2nd and 5 with 9:53 to go in the third quarter. Handed off. Shawcross gets the block from Wynn and then tackled on the near side as he gets down close to the 35. In on the stop for Carthage was Jace Watson.
Yeah, and if you look at that, it looked like Teagan didn't get all of that block. I think if he got a little more of that hit, maybe we'd see another touchdown, but just missed him. And a nice play there, though, from Watson to make that open field tackle. It's not easy to catch Trevor Shawcross when he's on the move like that. So a nice job by him to stop the play where it is and force another first down.
Pitched to Shawcross, gets the block on the sideline and then runs out of space. That spot.
You see a little extracurricular activity here on the sideline. That play there, Shawcross came to the sideline and got a little shove there at the end. But I mean, that's what you expect to see between these two teams. These are not only two teams trying to fight to keep their season alive and go to a sectional championship, but they're also rival schools. So it is big for them to take any advantage that they can at any time.
Pitched. Ariel Raymond around the left edge.
A good play for him. We've heard his name a couple of times in the first half. Got a couple of touchdowns to his name. That was a good run there. Not enough for the first, but that'll at least make this third down a little bit more manageable.
Third down and a long 3, closer to 4 after the rush for Raymond. Fred Haynes comes off to the Wolves sideline. They line up with one wide and then motion behind. And it is pitched to Shawcross. Shawcross, I think he's going to be short of the line to gain. So it's going to be 4th down and a couple of yards for Indian River here.
That one, unfortunately, I think that was his own blocker who somewhat stopped him. Just wrong place at the wrong time. You know, blocker obviously not meaning anything by it. Just in the way of Shawcross trying to push forward. Stopped him about a yard short, but with how Indian River has ran their offense up to this point, I would not be shocked if they try and go for it here just to keep that pressure on.
They will. And right up the middle, diving forward.
Yeah, that's Shawcross yet again. We saw it on their two-point conversions a bunch on their touchdown plays, just that direct snap to him. And he just takes off right up the middle, not afraid to get hit, not afraid to get brought down. Just needed enough to get the first, and that's exactly what he got.
So the ball now on the 25-yard line with 7:20 to go in the third quarter. Indian River trying to add to their lead. And that play just wouldn't stop. Indian River would not die on that rush up the middle for Raymond. And it's another first down.
Ariel Raymond is like one of those wind-up toys that you get. You just wind him up and his legs just keep running. You can pick him up, you can put him down, but he's just going to keep those legs moving. Fighting for those yards.
First down and 10 now. The ball on the 11-yard line.
He dropped the snap, and that's going back to Carthage. Another fumble to change direction of possession. That one hurts a little more as we take another look at it. You see the snap. I think it just hit him in the knee, or he just didn't get a good grip on it.
Never really able to control the snap win and able to fall on it was Pettit for Carthage. So a couple of fumbles for Indian River, a couple turnovers forced by the Comets, and that one in the red zone for Indian River.
For Carthage, you got to build on it here.
Adamola Sidipe tried to get around that right edge, tried to get outside, and just no luck.
Yeah, I mean, it has just been that type of night for the Indian River defense. They have just fought and made Adamola Sidipe earn every single inch from the line of scrimmage. A great job so far from that defense. We'll see if Carthage can get anything going here on second down.
Second and long. Handed off. Adamola Sidipe trying to get to the outside. Again, just can't really pick up any significant yardage. It's third down and long now.
That one looked a little promising. You could see a little light there at the end of the tunnel. But just as he was about to turn upfield, in came the Wolfpack to just bring him down.
The other problem for Carthage now is time is really starting to work against them here. 5.5 to go in quarter number 3, and they still trail by 38. Rick rolling out, trying to throw down the field, has a man, and it is reeled in. And that's the biggest play of the night by some margin for Carthage. Their first down of the evening.
I mean, that was a beautiful throw there by the quarterback and put it right in his pocket. And that's the first down that we're seeing from Carthage. We're starting to see them actually get some momentum forward. We'll see if they can build on that and get some points on the board that are much needed right now.
Well, if Carthage can put together any sort of passing game, as Adamola Sidipe is met at the line for no gain, if they can even make Indian River respect the pass just a little bit, that'll open up the running game that has been non-existent for Adamola Sidipe so far in this one.
Yeah, and that will be the difference maker for them if they can. I mean, we saw in the first half, they tried a couple of pass plays, they just didn't work. But if they, like you said, if they can get that pass game going, maybe that will open back up that run game for them. But it takes more than just one play to open up that run game.
Rick, fake handoff again, rolls out to his right this time. He's going to take it himself and picks up maybe a yard or two on the scramble to the right side. Spot on the far sideline really only gives him about a yard. It's third down and long coming up here, about 8.
An interesting play call there from Carthage. You've seen him roll out like that multiple times and looking to pass. I like the idea of having him run. Indian River, though, was just right on it, keeping him to only a 1-yard gain before he's forced out of bounds.
Rick looking to pass on third and long and just way overthrown.
Yeah, I mean, just overshot him. Not really much you can say there. There's a ton of coverage over there. I'm kind of interested on the look there, but looked like he had a couple of Indian River players there, so it would have been a tough catch regardless, but just overshot him. And now they're down to another 4th down.
Pass thrown in the general direction of Greg Rogers is incomplete on third down as the ball just completely checks up there in the air and dies on the punt on 4th down. It's touched up by Carthage at the 47, and Indian River will get the football back. So Carthage does pick up their first down of the evening, and they do it through the air, which is a little bit surprising considering what they've done all season, considering the elements certainly fighting against them here in this third quarter, trying to play from right to left. That throw against the wind, just like that punt was.
It certainly was uncharacteristic, but it seems like with how Indian River has played, it's been uncharacteristic night for Carthage, just trying to get any sort of movement forward. Sometimes you gotta pick something different.
Rush up the middle. Gain of close to 5 for Shawcross up the middle.
I mean, if you're Indian River right now, your biggest game plan is to hang on to the football, your last 2 drives ending in a fumble. If you're Carthage, it's you got to get points, and you got to get them fast. I mean, you are running out of time. There are about 16 minutes left in play time to get 38 points. That's not easy to do.
2nd and 5. Pitched. And not much happening on the pitch play for Trevor Shawcross. Picks up a couple of yards. It's 3rd down and about 3, close to 4. The important thing for Indian River here, the clock just continuing to tick. Approaching 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
And I will certainly give it to Carthage. This second half, so far they've shut down this Indian River offense, which was just running all over them in the first half.
Whistle here. Timeout called by Indian River, I believe. That was interesting. They blew the whistle, pointed like Indian River was going to call a timeout. Then the official on this near sideline signaled to run the clock, and then they do give the timeout. So first timeout of the half. Indian River takes it with 2:55 to go in the third quarter. Still up 38-0. Neither team has produced anything of note offensively here in the second half.
That play, I mean, we saw that play in the first half. If you missed it, it was, I like to call the offsides bait. I mean, that was they had Ariel Raven run in motion, which they've had multiple times, and they fake snapped hoping to catch Carthage to jump, and then when they didn't jump, they really didn't have a play drawn up. Looked like there was a little confusion on who called timeout, when called timeout. They just ended up taking the timeout.
Third down and about 3 for Indian River out of the timeout, their first of the half. Carthage with all 3 remaining. Fred Haynes in the backfield. Shawcross in motion. Kept, though, by Wynn, and he's able to pick up the first down as he crosses the 35.
Wow. I mean, that was a great run there from Tegan Wynn. He picked up speed quick. You could see him flying down the field there. Nice job, though, by the Carthage defense to stop him before it gets too bad. But he did the job and then some for the Indian River offense to keep this train moving.
That has really been part of the difference in this game, is Indian River's ability to use multiple different weapons. Here's one of those, Fred Haynes diving forward on the carry. But Haynes has gotten involved. Raymond scored twice. Wynn's been able to keep the ball and pick up significant yardage. Carthage, the game plan has been give it to Adamola Sidipe, and Indian River has stopped that, so it hasn't really been much of an alternative offensively for the Comets, whereas Indian River has used multiple weapons.
Of course, and I mean, you look through this offense, and I mean, it's been all season that they've been able to use these weapons, and it is the reason that they sit in the place that they are.
Raymond this time, he's still on his feet. Whistle goes for forward progress as he's driven to the ground. Short gain for Raymond. Third down and short coming up for Indian River.
I will say, though, again, this Carthage defense has been able to slow down this Indian River offense much better than they were able to in the first half. It seemed like Indian River took whatever yardage they wanted in the first half. So you got to hand it to the Carthage defense here in the second half. 2 turnovers so far and another third down on this drive.
Pitched out to the near sideline. Shawcross trying to get around. And it's going to be enough, but forced out of bounds, kind of dragged out by Xavier Ingram.
And it looks like refs are trying to get the chains moving, but the clock is going to keep running, which is interesting. They say that he must have been pushed out of bounds backwards, or at least Trevor forced himself to go backwards out of bounds, which keeps the clock moving, which definitely works in the favor of Indian River, as they are now trying to just waste some clock.
Under 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. They do the reverse play, and it's handed off eventually on the second time to Shawcross, and he's into the end zone again.
I mean, first time in the second half, the fourth time today. As you look at it here, like you're saying, that fake handoff, the pitch to the handoff. I mean, it's an effective play that Indian River has ran all season, and it continues to be effective tonight. And that just adds to what they built in the first half.
Wynn actually in at center, under center here. Pitched out to the near side. Shawcross converts for 2. 46 to nothing. Indian River really putting the hurt on now.
And I mean, as much as we give credit to the offense for putting up 46 points, because that is by no means an easy feat to make, it's been this Indian River defense that has been the difference. It is very difficult to win a game 46-0 if you just let Adamola Sidipe just run like he has all season. So big hats off so far for this Indian River defense just shutting him down, which is something that I was not prepared for going into tonight.
I don't think anybody really could have expected the way they've not just limited, but stopped Adamola Sidipe all night.
I mean, it is just getting more and more out of hand and less of a chance of a comeback for Carthage.
Trying to make something happen on the kick return out to the near side, but again, Carthage just can't really get anything going. Connor Hickey with a kick return.
Now, we saw them get a first down in their last drive, which was the first for them in their last drive. We'll see if they can get some more here on this drive, which will definitely be a big necessity for them moving forward. We see them set up for yet another drive here in the third quarter with only 14 seconds left.
Rick handed off. Adamola Sidipe with a little stutter step, gets around to the outside and picks up about 3 yards before being pushed out of bounds.
You can see now Carthage is going for a little bit of a different play. Instead of trying to just give it to Adamola Sidipe up the middle, they're trying to get it to the outside, hoping to get his legs moving, get him moving fast to that outside so that he can cut up the field and get those legs moving, because, like we said in the beginning, he gets those legs moving, it's tough to stop him. This play no different. Another handoff to Sidipe and a big tackle in the backfield. That one, they just grabbed his shoelaces and brought him down. Looked like a last-ditch effort just to grab his shoes, and it worked to bring him down, as that is the final play of the third quarter. Indian River 12 minutes away from heading to the sectional final. They lead 46-0.
James Huffman with a stop.
And that is a big tackle for him. I mean, again, once Adamola Sidipe gets those legs moving, it's tough to stop him, but just that last-ditch effort was just enough to bring him down. We'll see if Carthage has anything, as the opportunities for a comeback are dwindling away for Carthage. It is not looking good. But, I mean, there's a reason we play out the full game. You never know what could happen. It would certainly take a lot, but it is not impossible. So they put 12 minutes back on the clock. They set the quarter over to the final quarter. And Carthage will head back to the line for a third and short. See if they can get something and get into that first down.
Low snap. Rick able to handle it. And he dives forward to about the 43. It'll be fourth down and about 4 coming up. Well, Indian River, barring, just some absolute complete catastrophe. Looks like they'll move on and play in the sectional finals. That game likely against New Hartford. Trying to find you an update on that game. New Hartford is the only team to hand Carthage a loss this season. Indian River hands them a turnover on downs as they're able to stop the rush on 4th and 4. Last update I can find on that game, New Hartford playing ITC, was about 40 minutes ago. New Hartford was leading 29-0. So that seems like they'll extend their undefeated season at least one more week, and it'll be an interesting matchup. Indian River obviously has proven that they can handle Carthage.
Yeah, but, we saw earlier in the season, Carthage is not an easy team to defeat.
Raymond on the pitch out to the near side, over the 35, close to the 30 by the time he's finally brought down. Yeah, New Hartford went to Carthage and beat them in a close, hard-fought game. The only loss Carthage has all year. The result of the way Class B was structured this season, Indian River didn't get a look at New Hartford in the regular season, so that'll be their first meeting as Shawcross is just trying to add on and improve even more. There's a player down behind the play for Carthage.
Looks like he's kind of grabbing at his head for a second, which, especially in high school, they definitely do not take that lightly.
It's Cam Dorchester, who's up onto his feet and running off to the Carthage sideline.
Yeah, I mean, you're sure it's not anything, but especially with a head injury, you want to be extra careful. You want to make sure that it is truly nothing before you send him back onto a field, especially in a game like football, where concussions are quite common.
First down and 10, pitch to Shawcross. He gets down to about the 15. Solid gain, about 4 or 5 yards. And the clock just continues to run. 10:15 to go in the game. Indian River up 46-0, and they just set the tempo right from the very beginning of the game. Capitalized on a high snap on a punt for Carthage after forcing them to go 3 and out on the first possession of the game, and then punched one into the end zone immediately. Shawcross and have just walked to a victory as Ariel Raymond walks into the end zone for his 3rd score of the game.
Yeah, and that's about how Ariel Raymond handles any defender. He doesn't try and get around you. He just goes right through you, lower in the shoulder, right into him, as we'll take another look at that one. It's been about how he's scored all of his plays, that outside pitch on the motion. You see he had one man in front, and he just lowers the shoulder right into him, knocking him on his back, and adding yet another few tallies to the Indian River scoreboard. And I mean,
they've got a 50-piece now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if one could say that a comeback is going to happen. This 2-point conversion, though,
is going to
be stopped.
Yeah, stopped short. Fred Haynes got the carry on the handoff from Tegan Wynn. And
it's the second time that we've seen Indian River get stuffed on the 2-point conversion, and that has been a big difference between this week and the last time that these two teams met. Indian River struggled to get the 2-point conversions. Then this one, they have been able to find those 2-point conversions.
Yeah, they haven't really struggled with anything tonight. Obviously reflected in the scoreline, 52-0. Carthage just at this point trying to salvage something here. Obviously nothing is going to make you feel good about the way this game played out, but especially for some of the younger guys, maybe something to hold on to as their season is set to come to an end. Picked up at about the 22 and a return of a couple of yards.
I mean, that one could have possibly gone for a little more, but that ball just slipping through the returner's hands. I mean, it is cold out here. The ball's bound to just bounce around and slip, as it did there.
Gavin Payne, the kick returner for Carthage.
Yeah, and like you were saying, if you're Carthage right now, you want to find something to build on for next season. Get some of the younger guys to get something as that play gets stuffed in the backfield.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10. The other Shawcross, Bruce, getting involved with the stop there. He's had several of those. Been involved heavily on the defensive line for Indian River. Has been pivotal in their effort and their success in stopping Adamola Sidipe tonight.
It sure has. And I mean, the 52-0 score looks big. To be a different score if it's 52 to 52. That defense has done a great job.
Look out, Admiral Sadipe on the near side. Finally gets something going as he gets down to the 49. It was an option play for Carthage. Just a little bit of a different look from what they've been doing.
I hate to make this play that was so well for Carthage's offense look bad, but on the 29 there is a flag on the play. And I'm not sure if this play will get called back. The ref is standing on the flag, which usually means an offensive penalty.
Yeah, they're moving the chains.
So what was a big play for Adamola Sadipe, just a small little snip of what we've seen all season from him, gets taken away, and it ends up being an illegal block from Carthage, and it will still be second down, but it will now be 2nd and 15 for Carthage. And I mean, that just kind of wraps this whole game up. No matter what Carthage has done, it has just somehow gone wrong for them.
Handed off. Adamola Sadipe up the near sideline. Pushed out of bounds. Close to the 25. And into the Indian River bench. The clock continues to run.
I was curious about that. I saw the refs motion to keep the clock running. Curious on what he saw there to keep the clock moving. Maybe he moved backwards. I'm not sure. Obviously, he has a better view than we do up here.
Could just be a result of the score as well at this point. 52 to nothing. Clearly, this one is all but done and dusted. Cold night, windy night. Whistle here. Carthage is going to take a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, you're on 3rd and 12. You want to find something to make that 4th down a little bit more manageable. I don't think we will see Carthage punt it. Obviously, there is a chance that they do, but with their season possibly 8 minutes away from coming to an end, I don't see them really trying to punt. I see them trying to get some points on and at least get something going.
7:48 remaining in the game. Indian River have been superb in this one. They've just done everything right.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the difference between this game and last game, the biggest difference is Indian River not getting complacent, not being happy with their lead. They have put pressure on them from the first whistle to the final whistle. They're still putting pressure on them, even on 3rd and 12. With 7 minutes to go, as this one a pitch outside to Adamola Sadipe. He's going to try and get to the outside, puts a stiff arm on a man, but goes out of bounds, losing about 2 or 3 there. That'll be a 4th and even longer for Carthage. Colton White there, the one to bring him down. And that was not a kind tackle for Colton White, getting a hand to the face. As now, actually Carthage is set up. Looks like they will punt this one away.
Good snap. Rick takes his time but gets a good one away, and it actually bounces and rolls all the way down inside the 20. That's a terrific punt. Obviously aided by the wind, but nonetheless, really good boot.
Sure is. We've seen those kinds of boots from this Carthage punter. He's done a great job tonight getting those deep down the field. But this wind hasn't helped him either, especially in that 1st and 3rd quarter. Punts like that end up being about 30 yards. Here, that was almost a 50-yard punt. That was a great punt by him. As now, Indian River will take back the football with 7:26 to go. actually see Trevor Shawcross head to the sidelines here. You got to wonder if he'll come back on later for another snap. This one, a pitch. It'll be cut inside by Ariel Raymond. It'll go nowhere. It'll be second down for the Wolves.
Josh Bouzinet is the player that came in for Shawcross. Another player who has seen a good amount of touches on the offensive side of the football this season. I think the first time we've seen him in the game tonight, but just another weapon for them offensively.
Yeah, and it seems like no matter who they put on the field is another weapon for them to use offensively. And Indian River will waste as much time on the play clock before they call timeout. Kind of an interesting timeout, you gotta wonder, but looks like they will want to talk over this play. We'll see what their thoughts are for this next drive. Just 6:40 left in this game, and I think it looks just about certain that we will see Indian River in the JMA Wireless Dome next week, taking on either, well, more than likely New Hartford. Not entirely sure on the score out there.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find too much in the way of updates on that game. Last what I could find was that New Hartford had a fairly commanding 29-0 lead, but
I mean, as we saw earlier in the season between these two teams,
that is true.
A lead like that can go away.
That is true.
So Wade starts blowing big.
It sure does. Pitched out to the near side. Newly into the game. That's Bouzinet down the sideline. Wow. Like I said, just another weapon for Indian River. They haven't needed it, but showing off his talent and athleticism, Joshua Bouzinet.
Nearly took that one to the house as you take another look at that. All the way. I mean, whew, that nearly put this score to 58. But I'm sure Josh Bouzinet will take whatever he can right there.
Play clock down to 3. Indian River gets the snap off. It's handed off. Raymond, Ariel Raymond, down the near sideline and into the end zone yet again for Indian River. 58-0.
And you know what? I think I gotta say it. It looks like they're fighting tonight for that IBEW 910 Mika Player of the Game.
It's been a lot tighter than I would have anticipated.
Usually we're seeing a lot more Trevor Shawcross, but Ariel Raymond yet again breaking another one free. He has been an absolute workhorse tonight as we take another look at it on our Carthage Area Hospital replay. Just that inside, and then he just cuts to the outside, and there is just nothing but green grass.
Just so much speed and athleticism. Whistle here before the play gets going on the 2-point conversion attempt. This looks like it's going to be against Indian River.
Yeah, usually it is if they're going to stop the play like that once the flag came in. It'll make this 2-point conversion a bit more difficult if they choose to, in fact, continue to go for 2 here. But if you look back at the previous sectional final that Indian River was in and won against New Hartford, they won it on a field goal, won it only by 1. But they will still go for 2 here, and they will convert it.
Caden Smith into the game for Indian River and into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
And I mean, he just adds to the list of all of the names that have been called for this offense. Adds to the list of powerful weapons from this offense.
Yeah, I got to correct myself. That was 5, not 6. So it was Maki Coles who got into the end zone. Aiden Smith came off to this near sideline after the play. He laid a good block for Coles. Maki Coles on the 2-point conversion makes it 60-0.
I mean, that was just some pure speed out of Maki Coles. And like we've seen all night, and I've been saying it all night, some great blocking from Indian Rivers just before they kick this one off. Wind blows just hard enough to knock that ball off the tee.
Without fail. That's happened tonight. This one low. Reeled in at about the 34. Now over the 40 and spinning around for Carthage, the kick returner, Chris Talbot. And he's brought down at about the 42.
We're almost halfway through this fourth quarter, and it is, I mean, if you were to tell me, especially after the last meeting between these two teams, that we would see a 60-0 score, I mean, I'd be shocked. I mean, these are two powerhouse teams. They are both very good, especially for a team to play in this type of weather. They've done a very good job.
Pitched out to the near side from Rick for Adamola Sidipe, and he's brought down. Another first down, though, for Carthage.
And that one, Maki Coles there with the tackle. That is a first down for Adamola Sidipe. We're starting to see a little more of the Adamola Sidipe that we've seen the previous 10 weeks of this season, if you count the quarterfinal game for him.
Still out there in the backfield. Rick will hand it off to him. Adamola Sidipe up the middle. And is Indian River going to lose the shutout here? Not just yet. Adamola Sidipe inside the 15, though, for Carthage as he goes right up the gut.
Yeah, and you see that blocking there from Carthage. They're open that hole for him. And the door that had been shut all night by Indian River, this time Adamola found his way through and nearly took that one to the house.
So Adamola Sidipe still out there. 5:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Carthage trailing 60-0. Rick bobbled the snap, and then by the time he got it to Adamola Sidipe, he was met and stopped in the backfield. They're making the tackle for Indian River, Brendan Cunningham. Well, Josh, one of my least favorite things that commentators do, and it's rubbed off on me as a commentator, is calling a game when there's plenty of time left. This one has been over for a long, long time. I mean, this game has been over really since probably midway through that second quarter. It's just tremendous. As Adamola Sidipe stopped in the backfield for a loss.
Yeah, and I
for
mean,
Carthage. You've said it though several times, and it's hard. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around how good Indian River's been defensively, because Carthage has just dominated teams on the ground.
And Indian River's one of them. I mean, you look at the second half of the only game that Indian River has lost all season, and I wouldn't even say the only game. It's the only half that Indian River has lost all season. It's that second half against Carthage earlier in the year, and it showed just how dominant that this offense can be. But Indian River has just, they found a new way to stop this team, as that one's brought down again behind the original line of scrimmage, but it'll be a gain of 3 or 4. But, I mean, I will say, I mean, it's a good reason that we didn't count out Carthage up until about this point, is because, I mean, from what we saw earlier in the year and from what we've seen from this team all year, they are a very good offense. And, you know, I mean, it is disappointing to see Jeremiah Adamola Sidipe's season end like this. He gets yet another carry, but it won't be enough for a first. But, yeah, I mean, it is tough to see his season end like this for how well he has been all season. And I mean, everything just has gone wrong for Carthage. And, I mean, it seemed like everything went wrong for them last time these two teams met in the first half, and they came out in the second half as a whole new beast. So, I mean, even going into the half down 38, we still couldn't even count them out because we weren't sure what they were going to come out with in the second half. But, I mean, Indian River has just, I mean, I can't even put it into words with how well that they have played in this game.
No, it really is almost indescribable as they're going to take a timeout here to avoid the delay of game.
Yeah, and if you're Indian River, I mean, honestly, it's just get enough yardage to keep the drive alive and waste enough clock to where you can put it away now. I mean, there's no reason to continue putting players, honestly, in danger of injury. I mean, that's really what you're looking at now. If you're Indian River, is to avoid injury and to avoid, you know, losing a player before that next game, because that's now the game that they're looking at, is that sectional final game in the Dome up in Syracuse. As we'll see what they do here on this drive. Like I said, probably just trying to run a bunch of the clock out as much as they can, but also trying to keep the drive alive so they don't have to continue to run that defense out there. As the refs are trying to get the other footballs off the field.
Pitched. And stood up at the line was the ball carrier, Caden Elliott, for Indian River.
He'll pick up a couple there, and it'll be second down. And I don't see Indian River rushing to the line now, as they have previously in drives and previously throughout the season. One thing we've seen is that they, you know, usually are quick to the line. I don't think we'll see that too much here on this drive as they get back to the line now with only 10 seconds. But a handoff, it'll bring Broad out to the outside, and it'll be another 2-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 6 now for Indian River.
Maki Coles on the carry for the Wolves. But you're right, Josh. Indian River just content. Run the clock down and see this one out. Just an all-around, pretty much perfect game played by Indian River. I mean, they had a couple of fumbles to start this second half, but other than that, they really just haven't made a mistake. Maki Coles out to the near sideline, and he's brought down.
Kind of an odd tackle there, but he does go out of bounds, so that will stop the clock, which is not what you want if you're Indian River right now. Oh, no, they're just
going to run it again.
The clock. They only stopped the clock for the first down there, so they will. But
yeah, they move the chains, though. Clock starts running, and that'll do it. Yeah, it's
you can hear the crowd here. I mean, there's no love lost between these two teams. They've never liked each other, and it will continue. I mean, they're too close in proximity. As they are now in victory formation, they'll have to take another one before we can officially wrap this one up. But what a game this was. Last time these two teams faced, it was a close ending. Tonight, Indian River left no question on who was going to be the winner as they start to celebrate on the sidelines. And with one more kneel, they'll be able to celebrate on the field. And they'll let this clock run out, and Indian River will move on.
And they'll feel that this is the one that mattered. Obviously, that game against Carthage, they felt they should have won. They felt they could have won. But they learned from it. They took it and they used it as the experience they needed to figure out the best way for them to move forward, the best game plan for them to stop Carthage, and man, did they stop Carthage. Held them off the board. Held Jeremiah Adamola-Sadipe. I don't know what his final total ended up being, but it couldn't have been more than 55, 60 yards, and that's including the 35-yarder he broke off at the end of the game when Indian River had put all the backup players out there.
And honestly, I mean, I can't even believe that was a sentence that I've heard. That Adamola-Sadipe was held to under 100 yards in a game. He has been so dominant all year. Hats off to Carthage on just an incredible season. It's tough the way that this went out. I mean, to lose in a ball game, never fun. But, I mean, you can't take away from an incredible season that they had, and you can't take away from an incredible player that Adamola-Sadipe is.
Absolutely. It's just a pleasure to watch all year. Obviously frustrated tonight, but Carthage deserve all sorts of accolades and applause for the way that they played this season. 8-2, their final record, as they lose to Indian River. The Wolves started playing The Warrior, the song. It caught me. I had been perfect all game until then.
They need a new victory song for next year.
But they were just outstanding tonight, and I know it seems like we've been really harping on them all game, but they haven't given us a chance to say too much about Carthage because of how good they were. They were outstanding.
They absolutely were, and to hold them off for even a first down until late into the second half, just an incredible job from Indian River all around, from the offense to the defense to the special teams. This team just on fire, and obviously we wish them the best of luck next week going into the Dome. And I mean, it was a tough battle for our IBEW 910 NICA player of the game.
Yeah, Zach Zabrisky's flashing it at us. He's got Trevor Shawcross's name up there. It's pretty hard to argue with that.
It's tough to argue with that. I mean, he has been their main guy all season long. He was their main guy tonight. They went to Ariel Raymond, and he showed some promise tonight, and hopefully he'll be able to carry that into next week for their sectional championship game, where hopefully they will be able to see themselves be those sectional champions. But Trevor Shawcross is going to be the IBEW 910 NICA player of the game tonight.
Yeah, again, and the way he took the game over early was the big thing that really helped the Wolves to the win that they ended up coming out with 60-0 over Carthage here in the sectional semifinals. Just a massive win for them as they will go and play likely New Hartford in the sectional finals. The wind has really started picking up here, so we'll try to wrap this up. But again, just thanks to everybody that makes all of these possible and everybody that watches us here on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel, our sponsors that allow us to be here, the Bob Johnson Auto Group Trek Subs, IBEW NICA for sponsoring our player of the game all season long, and Carthage Area Hospital for bringing you replays of the action during the games. And our sponsor for tonight, the Church Street Diner in Carthage. A reminder that we will be back. This is our last football game of the year, and we're thrilled to be here through the wind in Indian River. But we will be back with basketball. That starts the first week of December. The 3rd will be our first game, and it should be a real peach of a game. It'll be Carthage at South Jeff, the boys taking on each other, a couple of teams that have really dueled it out the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, as much as I'm excited for these teams, I'm excited to get back inside and watch some basketball, make it a little warmer for us.
It has been a chilly one up here on the roof, and again, we apologize profusely for the wind and the sound. We can only do so much when the weather acts the way it has. Mother Nature not exactly cooperating with us so far tonight. Indian River, the final score of our last high school football game of the year, 60-0 in commanding win in the sectional semis in the grudge match against Carthage. The Shiver in Indian River, the final score, 60-0. Thank you everybody for tuning in all season long to high school football on the NBC Watertown YouTube channel. Connor Lalone
along with Joshua Madison and Zach Zabriskie and Morgan Young, our crew this evening. Thanks for tuning in. We hope we see you on the 3rd of December for high school basketball.